huge. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I am in love with Ludacris. When I found out he had a wife, I was really crushed. So maybe I trade places.
This is On Call.
This would be really cool to just wear scrubs all the time. Then you don't have to think about what you're going to wear to work.
Joke is awesome. We're here to answer your questions. We can sit down and discuss all. Wait, I gotta go. I'm on call.
Wait, you're on call? I thought I was on call. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of On Call with April and Alicia. I am Alicia.
I'm April.
And I'm Julie.
Heyo.
We have a guest.
We've got another guest in the call room. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We're good. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
So Julie is one of our awesome executive assistants here at Sound. So she supports me, April, as well as a lot of our other senior leaders at Sound. So we're really excited to have you today, Julie.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here. I'm really super excited.
I just want to add, Julie supports me too, April, not just you. Thank you. Okay? Not technically, but she does. She always supports me.
do.
Julie helps anybody who needs help, really.
That's right. So, April, what's going on? Julie, what's going on with you guys? Anything new?
Nothing on this end. You know, same stuff. Wonderful sound world of moving.
Girl, I heard you say something about your vacuum cleaner getting ready to start right before we were recording, and it made me think about last night I woke up in the middle of the night and my Roomba turned on. And I just had all these funny thoughts about how I don't know if you guys have Roombas, but I yell at my Roomba like it might be somebody I pay to do work. And I'm always like, what are you doing? Like it'll like run over little things or get stuck. I'm like, why do you keep going to the same mat and getting stuck, as if it like can hear me? But it kind of made me giggle. I was like in the middle of the night. I'm like, who yells at their Roomba? I do.
Yeah, as if it really has a choice whether or not.
I know, but it's like my housekeeper or something. I don't know. It makes me feel fancy.
Well, I don't yell at my housekeeper, so it's probably good that you don't have one. You probably yell at one.
Oh, well, yeah, probably. I don't know where they would yell at me.
Housekeeper too.
As long as she didn't show up at 2 a.m, I'd be okay.
I'm sure they wouldn't. But I actually don't have a Roomba, and I heard it's mostly because I heard this story one time about somebody who had a dog and they weren't home. Like the person wasn't home. The dog went to the bathroom like on the carpet, like diarrhea, and the Roomba was on and went through it and just spread it all over the house. And so I have never bought one and probably never will, mostly because of that. I don't want to be cleaning that up all over my house.
Oh no.
That would be disgusting.
Yes, very.
Yes.
But
Very
I don't know
gross.
why they turn on in the middle of the night either. So guess what happens after that? I start watching the Weather Channel.
Oh.
I'm back
What's
to
the
Weather
latest with
Channel
the
commercials.
weather? Isn't
So
there
there's
another hurricane?
There is one. It's going to hit Bermuda. Welcome to your weather corner, Julie. And most importantly, I was talking about the commercials on our last episode, how funny they are, how they're tailored to women of a certain age and men of a certain age.
Yeah.
This one was about, I'm not going to say the company, but it was about like doomsday packs where you could buy like 96 like powdered meals. Because when that day comes, just based off of the state of our world, i.e. the elections, we're going to need 96 like powdered packs to get us through doomsday. And it is the grossest food I've ever seen in my life. It looks like slop. But my question was, what happens after 96?
Well, and also, is the 96 just for one person?
I don't
Or is
know.
it for,
I'm like, well, how many of these do you need if we're surviving a nuclear holocaust? We probably need a lot. I'm just, hey, if it's zombie apocalypse, just take me. I don't know. I don't want to be miserable, and I'm not eating oatmeal macaroni.
I'm so glad I'm asleep during that time of morning.
Julie, they're some of the craziest commercials, but they they pander to fear. It's interesting, but yeah. So buy your doomsday prepper pack.
Gosh, you guys are funny to me.
Anyway, all right.
And like in the next episodes, you're going to be talking about your storm shelter that you built under your house.
That's right. That's right.
With all
And
your
they also
canned
have
goods.
commercials for Generac, your backup generator. So I'm like, well, I should probably need one of those too.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking of all the things that I'm going to do.
I think we should disable your TV after midnight. I don't
They
think
do.
we
Probably
Just-
should.
yeah,
and
yeah.
probably my Wi-Fi so my Roomba doesn't turn on.
There's
it's
way
too
too much
funny.
activity in your house overnight.
There too.
So
It's
funny.
and it's usually when I'm alone. So then I'm like, what in the world? Yes.
Mm,
Keeps it
mm.
interesting. We got to keep it interesting, Julie.
All right. Well, before we get into our topic for today, let's break the ice. So,
Let's break
Julie,
the ice.
every time we have a guest, we ask a couple random questions to our guest. Just a little, get to know you, fun questions. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's
All
go.
right.
All
Alicia's
right.
gonna go first.
She's a trooper. Okay. I always ask silly ones, Julie. So April asked about food. Let me ruin it for you. If
Not
animals.
today.
Oh, hey, switching it
Hey.
up. All right. If animals could talk, which one do you think would be the most annoying?
Dogs.
Really?
I have one.
But you love your dog.
I do, and he talks.
Does he?
I don't have enough time to really show you all that he talks, but yes, he does talk.
Well,
Hmm.
if you have it on video anywhere, please show it to us so we can put it on our show page and show everybody else when this episode releases. I'd love to see that.
Yes, he talks.
But is he
Does
like
he
get
Mr.
like really
Talk?
excited? So you'd think he'd be like, "What are you gonna do today, Julie? Where are we gonna go? We're gonna go outside."
He gets so excited. He likes to have real full-blown conversations. We sit down
I
and
feel
have a
like
great time.
I feel like donkeys would have a really annoying voice. Like
He
if they
does.
talked, like they'd be like April. Like that's how they would talk. I think that would be my animal. But you didn't ask me. Okay, April, you're up.
All right. If you won the lottery, what would you do? Like, what would your first purchase be if you won the lottery?
Ooh, baby. I already got it planned out. If
All
I
right,
win the
let's hear it.
lottery, which I am actually playing tonight because it's really huge, right? It's
Okay.
a $500 million right now.
Dang.
Okay. So if I won the lottery, what I would do, I already have it down. I would pay off all of my bills. First, that's would be the first thing. I'd pay off everything.
And
That's
mine.
already have
responsible. Okay.
I already have my list of people where I'm writing checks with a little note. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying I'm volunteering for
Yes.
you to I would love to be on your list.
I got a list of people with a note that says, don't come back and ask me for anything.
Oh, okay, never
Right.
mind.
And
I don't want to
I'm
be on that
going-
list.
And then I'm going on a trip. So it's not necessarily, and then I'm going to enjoy life.
Good for
I
you.
don't think it's really funny. I hear a lot of people say they would quit. I don't think I would quit. I think I would still work,
Same.
and just do my thing because I love what I do. So this is what I would do. So
Awesome.
So
I
if
already
you
got it
take a
written
sudden
down.
vacation and your stationery supply goes up a little bit, April and I know that you have tapped into something. So we
Ooh.
better be on that list.
You're on the list. You're on the list.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to switch it to kind of what we're doing right now. We're on video. You encouraged us to all get on video. I'm curious, in all of your experience in video meetings, all of that, what is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you while on video?
I don't think that I've had any embarrassing moments on video, only because I am very cautiously aware.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure that I'm getting ready to get on video, and I don't know who's going to see the video. So I try to make sure that, oh wait, is everything good? So there is one thing I will tell you, Colleen Runyon. I was on video with her, and she asked me, she says, Julie, you see this sign?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what
What
it
does it say?
says?
I can't see it from
I
here.
can't read
says-
that.
It says,
So-
well, she could read it. It says, touch me.
Oh.
She says, you might want to put on a background because what is that back there, right? And I was like, it's a light. It's a light.
She took it non-PG, huh?
Look, it was so funny. So that was a funny camera moment. But other than that, I don't think I've never stood up and not had any clothes on at the bottom, like they do on. I've never had that issue. I make sure my hair is right, make sure my
Mhm.
glasses, and if I don't look good, I'm not getting on camera.
All right.
Okay. April, did you ever have? I'm just curious now. Any embarrassing moment?
I don't think so. I did have one time when I was like on a call and I was like doing stuff in the kitchen, like listening to the call, and I had it on my phone, and I didn't realize that the camera had come on. I had to turn it off, but nothing
Yep.
was like there. It was like my ceiling, like they couldn't see me. So somebody sent me a message, was like, your camera's on. So I think that's the only thing. But I was on a call one time. It's not necessarily because I was on camera, but I was on a call one time, like a new clinician onboarding call, presenting to lots of people across town, and Baxter started barking like in the middle of my sentence. He just like went nuts because there was a delivery guy, and I was trying to just keep talking above his barking, and eventually I was like, I'm really sorry about the dog.
You didn't care. No one cared
So,
about the dog barking. I feel like
no.
everybody's dog barks
Yeah.
on calls
Yeah.
now. Okay, one more. What do you got, Abe?
So mine is, if you could trade places with anyone for one day, who would it be? Could be a celebrity, could be just somebody you know. Oh, I stumped her.
One day?
Yep, for just for one day.
I mean, do I get all the benefits of
Yep.
that one day?
Yep.
Okay, so one of my hidden things is I have a huge, I don't know why, I can't explain it, but I am in love with Ludacris. I don't know why. I can't tell you why.
Okay.
And when I found out he had a wife,
Chris is a rapper from
Right.
Atlanta.
right, and I don't know really why. I just think it's maybe one of his songs. I can't really figure it out, but maybe. And when I found out he had a wife, I was really crushed. So maybe I trade places with this wife.
Broke your heart, huh?
It did. I didn't know he had a wife. So maybe that would be it. Maybe just to spend the day with Ludacris.
Okay.
I can dig it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
Plus, you'd
right.
be entertained if nothing else.
Yes, we'll hang out with Luda.
Yeah, that's true.
With you.
Yeah.
I might go with you.
Yes. Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Abe. Well, let's get into the show.
All right. So this episode, we wanted to honor our advanced practice providers. So next week is APP week. It's celebrated every September. And so we wanted to take some time just to honor all of the advanced practice providers in sound, as well as, outside of sound, all over, by doing an episode just talking about the history of the profession, and just what we think is amazing about being APPs. And so Julie, as we mentioned, is one of our executive assistants here at Sound, and she works a lot with me in supporting our advanced practice providers. She runs our meetings. She, schedules all of our calls so that we can connect with each other, and really anything we need, she's here to support us. So we thought she'd be the perfect person to bring in to help us celebrate this week.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I really am glad to be here. I absolutely love the APPs. I actually love the whole segment of APP, right? It just really understanding it and learning it. And so that's one of my fun pieces of working here at Sound, working with the APPs.
Well, you've kind of been in the trenches with April from the beginning, and watching her growth through that leadership role and into her VP of advanced practice role too. So you've been along for the ride.
I have, and I've enjoyed it, and just learning. And April's really good at letting me get my hands wet and get into stuff and do reports and all. It's so much fun.
Doesn't let me do that for some reason. I don't know why.
Love it.
Well, Julie, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about whether it's your sound story, about you, how you got here, your family, whatever you want to share.
Oh my goodness. Let me see. I have been an executive assistant. I've been in the executive administrative role, let's say that, for 39 plus years. I started actually in high school working for the government, believe it or not. And as time has went on, I have evolved into different roles over Maryland and Kentucky and here in Georgia. And I've been with Sound July 31st for 7 years. So I've been here for a minute.
Long time.
Yeah, it's a real long time. I started out working with the C-suite, if you will, the chief operating officer, and that at that time it was the chief chief clinical officer. That was John's role, yeah. And then, now he's evolved. Now he's president. And I work for now the CEO of hospital medicine, the CEO of emergency medicine, the chief nursing officer, the vice president of advanced practice provider. and the chief operating officer now of HMEM. So I enjoy it. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I will say again, working in the nurse arena, working with both Catherine and April has been really exciting because there are a lot of things for me to do in those areas, and so I really enjoy it. We have a
Well,
good
we
team.
enjoy working with you too.
Yay!
Yes, and all the extras that you do for me. I
Yes,
always love
I
that.
do
Thank
love
you.
Alicia. She's
Thank
great
you.
too.
Say
I
that one
work
more
with
time, a little
her.
louder for everybody in the back.
I
Just
love
kidding.
Alicia. She is so good, and she's good to me too, and she's good for me, and I love
I'm
working
on
with
that
her.
lottery list, y'all. I'm on that lottery list.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Well, it's April in celebration of APP week and having Julie here to ask the questions. Let's roll. Julie, what do you got for us?
well, let me tell y'all, I have a lot of questions for you guys today. So I'm just gonna ask a couple questions, and you all just chime in, okay? So the
Got it.
first thing I need you to explain for me, and the listeners today is, what an advanced practice provider is. What their roles include. What titles are underneath the APP. Tell me about those.
April, you're the jack of all here.
So, an advanced practice provider, which you'll hear us say APP, is a healthcare professional who's undergone training, education, and has obtained certification to provide medical services, diagnose and treat patients. And so we're not physicians, but we do have advanced degrees and are qualified to take on different roles depending on what your certification is. So the large category of APPs would include nurse practitioners, physician assistants, clinical nurse specialists, certified nurse midwives, CRNAs. Did I miss anything, Alicia? I think those are all of them.
Nope, I think you've got it all.
Yep. So, and then we work, in all different specialties across the board, to provide care to our patients.
Yeah, tell me about, explain to me, give me some information, share with us the history behind it, like the NPs and the PA profession. Tell me some history behind that.
Well, so for the nurse practitioners, this movement really started in like the mid 1960s. There was a healthcare system in Colorado that was really struggling to fulfill its family medicine doctor need. So there was a gentleman, Dr. Henry Silver, and then Dr. Letta Ford, his wife, who was a nurse, that just recognized this need and established the first NP program at the University of Colorado. And at that time, largely their focus was on pediatric care. The success of that program, like moving into the 70s, began to really take off. Then they were advancing into more areas other than pediatrics, largely with our deficit of providers, again, in the family medicine space. So then, and going into the 1980s and then into the 90s, there began to be more legislation for more practice. They really started to, identify the need and the benefit of having this role. They were giving them more authority to prescribe medications, more authority to diagnose. And then as we get into like the new millennium, we have really become an indispensable part of the workforce. Our roles continue to grow. You can find us, like you mentioned, in doctor's office. We are in the hospital settings, whether that's in a hospital medicine setting or whether that's in cardiology or GI, or, I mean, pretty much penetrating all specialties and just really, collaborating with our counterparts in the hospital just to deliver really good care. So that's kind of our history. April, what's yours?
Yeah, so the history of physician assistants is a similar story. So it started at the same time, in the mid 1960s. And it was because physicians and educators recognized that there's a shortage of primary care physicians, like Alicia mentioned. So there was a physician, Dr. Eugene Stead Jr., who at the Duke University Medical Center, he put together the first class of PAs in 1965. And it was actually based on or the thought of it came, I think, from more military training. So the first class was for Navy hospital corpsmen who had received a lot of medical training during the military service. So they were put in this first PA class. And they based the curriculum actually on the knowledge of what they had from fast track training of doctors during World War II. So after the first class graduated in 1967, Richard A. Smith developed a program at the University of Washington where they trained medically trained veterans to re-enter the civilian life as healthcare providers. So that was established in 1969. And from there, it really gained, the profession really gained traction and federal acceptance in the early 1970s. And so in 1971, the American Medical Association recognized the PA profession. They also had incorporated the American Academy of Physician Assistants in 1968. And then from there, we had states that passed legislation authorizing PA practice. And then they developed the first certifying board exam for PAs. And it's just grown from there, as Alicia said, within similar to NPs, where then we had more states getting them into practice and then increasing autonomy, giving prescriptive authority, and those things to where we are today, where we're working in, specialties across the medical fields.
Oof,
Yeah,
that's
one
a
thing I
lot.
wanted to add, Julie, was just the growth. April just touched on that in the PA sense and the NP sense. We've since just 2007, this profession has grown by 300%.
Wow.
It's wildfire right now. Yep.
That's really cool. So can APPs work independently or do they always have to work with doctors?
So I can take that. For NPs, there are a handful of states where NPs can practice independently, and then some where they're still, requiring some supervision. Ultimately, the practice really goes down to what the bylaws are at whether the hospital you're working at, or what the rules and regs are for, whatever your practice is and what that calls for. Those hospital rules, they don't trump what our practice can be, but they can tailor it and restrict it a little bit more. But yes, there are a lot of states where NPs particularly can practice independently.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say as PAs, there's still a lot of states where, PAs have to have what's called an agreement with a physician. It's some states it's called a delegation agreement. Sometimes it's called a collaborative practice agreement. So they have, a physician that they work with, like a supervising physician that they're assigned to work with that has a similar scope of practice. And so, but there is a lot of movement with that as well for PAs, where there are some states that are looking at maybe changing the way that agreement looks or even getting rid of it. So, and again, the same strategy along, bylaws, rules, and regulations apply to PAs as well, where they're practicing.
Oh, that is way cool. So it looks like you guys have given me some really good information, a lot of information that I did not know. So you've already talked about the specialties where APPs are most common, right? You talked about that within your history. Can you share some specific examples of different procedures and things that the APPs are trained to perform?
Yeah, I would say that probably varies based on where they're working and what specialty they're working in, right?
Oh,
So in
okay.
critical care, they can be doing a lot of procedures, such as putting in lines to have access, to give medications versus if somebody can't breathe, they could be, intubating them to put them on the ventilator, things like that. Emergency medicine, they're doing sort of emergency related procedures, anything from, repairing a big laceration to putting in a chest tube for somebody who can't breathe, right? And hospital medicine, I would say that it varies based on the hospital whether or not they do procedures. And then if you're working in a specialty and that there's procedures associated with that specialty, they may be trained to do those as well.
And I would add from the PA end, April, you guys can go in as first assists with additional
Yes.
training as well into the OR and actually, help with the surgeon, like the surgery with the surgeon.
Right.
So you both mentioned additional educational training, right? That you have to do in order to become an APP, right? What exactly, in detail, what is the additional education?
So for a nurse practitioner, it is 4 years. So your bachelor's in science, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and then usually for most programs, there's a requirement for actual on-site work time. Like you have to have 3-4 years experience, depending on what trajectory you go into. If you went to acute care, that's where we're talking more hospital-based, procedure-based, these clinicians that go into critical care, those providers may need a certain amount of time working in an ICU before they can apply for grad school. At that point, you apply for your track, whether it's primary care, family, acute care. You can do psych. There's, some options there. That's usually an additional 2. And then what we're seeing a lot more is postmasters, where they are actually dual certifying, some, in acute care and primary, some in family and acute care. So all in all, I mean, you could be 8 years. But I think it's important to count the time on the ground too, like the experience within the field. It's not one straight shot. So usually it's about, I'd say for me, it was about a 10-year process.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so for PAs, most of them as well, you get a bachelor's, and you can kind of get your bachelor's in whatever you want, but you have to, in order to apply to PA school, they often will have certain courses that you would have had to complete during your undergraduate degree, like anatomy and chemistry, all those kind of science classes. But also you have to have had some time in patient care. So when I applied to PA school, I had been working as a physical therapy assistant, which gave me direct patient care hours. So they usually want you to have a certain amount of hours related to patient care. And then once you get into PA school, it's usually 26 months. And the first year is all didactic. So you're in the classroom, 8 hours a day, learning. And then your second year is all rotations, clinical rotations. So you do a series of rotations that are anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks long. And there's a course that you have to rotate through, like specialty wise. And then you usually get a couple electives at the end where you can kind of pick where you want to go. There are a few entry level PA programs where you can actually go in as a freshman and like an undergrad, and then you're in a track to go to the PA program, which if you do it that way, it's usually a total of 5 years. If you do it the other way, where you get your bachelor's and then go to PA school, it's usually a total of about 6 years. A lot of times too, they will have wanted you to, have that working experience. So oftentimes you'll have to take a year in between finishing your bachelor's and going to PA school to get that experience under your belt. And I would say that, the one difference I would say for PA school is that we don't have tracks. Like, Alicia mentioned all the different tracks for nurse practitioners and the certifications. For PAs, it's just one track. We're trained in general medicine. And then you get one degree. And so then when you graduate, you can work in pretty much any specialty you want. And you get on the job training, when you get hired wherever you're working.
Okay, so here's another one for you. When you think about healthcare in general, and you see where we've come from, do you think that the training is a little less strenuous now than it was back then?
I don't think that it's less strenuous. I would say one thing I would say is that it's extremely more competitive to get in than when I went to PA school. I mean, I've been practicing as a PA for 16 years, right? And so when I applied, I think they had 300 applicants, and that they took 30 of us. That's how many we had in our class. When I go and talk to PA schools now, or nurse practitioner schools now, they're getting like thousands of applications, and they're still only taking 30 to 60 kids in a program. So it's extremely competitive to get in. But I think as far as PA schools go, I think probably the curriculum and how it's structured are very similar to when I completed it, at that time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay. Are there, do you have to have continuing education as you become a PA and an MP? I mean, do you have to keep going, or is it once you're finished and you just go with it? I mean, like, how does that work?
Well, so for NPs, we keep our core RN certification. So we have to have that certified or renewed every 2 years. And then our advanced practice certification. So depending on what board you're with, that needs to be, we recertify every 5 years. So if you have 2, then you're recertifying those 2 in tandem, as well as your RN every 2 years, as well as your DEA and all the other fun things we need to recertify all of the time. So yeah, every 2 and 5 is our number.
Okay.
Yep. So for PAs, we renew every 2 years. So we have to do a certain amount of continuing education credits, in that 2 years. And then we actually have to retake our boards every 10 years. So we have an exam.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So I'm talking to 2 professionals. Okay. So
well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
So now I have a question. I want to get personal with you ladies. So what inspired you to become an APP?
All right.
I'll
Well,
tell. I
oh,
love
go ahead.
my. I think it's our opening line where I said I just wanted to wear scrubs, so I didn't have to decide what I wanted to wear to work. That's not why I got in as an MP. But the truth is, I was 19 when I had my daughter, and it had plans to go. And I was a musician and had plans to do some other things. And obviously, life had some other plans. And I was delivering her, and I remember the nurse, and I remember thinking how, like, she was so cool. I don't know, there was something really cool about it. And then I was trying to think, could I do this? And then it was more about, like, could I just work in the hospital? I just wanted to find a profession. I wasn't sure if I was going to be good at it. I never thought about blood and anything like that, nor, taking care of people. But, but 4 younger siblings, and I guess I, took care of them. So there was some empathy. But um, I got in, started as a patient care assistant, and then, like, I just kept going, like, what's the next level? What's the next? Like, what's the next thing I could do? And what's the next thing I could do? And I really had no idea about NPs when I started, and that would have been '02. At the bedside, just as a patient care assistant, I had no idea. I just every time I learned about something new, I was like, oh, next step. And then it was, a couple people are like, yes, you can't do that. There's no way you can do that. Like, the schooling, like April mentioned, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. It was intense with, 2 young kids at that point. It I think it was a nice challenge. But yeah, if there was something beyond what I'm doing now, I'd probably want to do that too, but just max out the profession. So that's how I got here.
Yeah, for me, I would say that so my mom was a nurse, my grandmother was a nurse. So there was always an interest in healthcare for me, even from a young age. I did for a very short period of time want to be a marine biologist. I have no, I think it was because I
That's
like
so fun.
dolphins.
You could
So
have been with all the hurricanes,
I'm
April. I
gonna
could have been
go and
hanging
I
out with
can,
you.
yeah, I can go live by the water and be a marine biologist. So that was like a very short stint when I was like in, I think, middle school or elementary school. But I actually, my initial goal was to be a physical therapist, which is why I was working as a physical therapy assistant. And then one of my patients was a PA, and he was like kind of talking to me about my career path and what I wanted. And he said, you should consider being a PA. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll consider it. And then he's like, you know what, you should come shadow me for a day. He was an orthopedic PA. And I went and worked with him for a day, and I was sold that day. I just felt like it was a good way to be able to really be actively involved in evaluating and treating patients. And I mean, ultimately, my personal motivation was to make a difference, right, in the
Mhm.
lives of other and take care of other people. So, um, from that day forward, that was my plan. So I applied and then went from there. And I actually went to PA
Wow.
school with a friend of mine that we both were working as physical therapy assistants and trying to figure out what we wanted to do with our lives. We both ended up going to PA school together. So we were like best friends through PA school. We're still friends today. So it was nice to have a buddy, with me to
But you're not
go
best
through.
Wow.
friends because we're best friends now.
Right. Because Alicia,
Thank you.
of course, is my best
Right.
friend. But
Sorry,
Have
friend.
you have you ladies ever considered, or back then maybe have you ever considered actually becoming a doctor?
I did. Um, I did, but I realized at that point the time I had already invested in school, and taken what I believed taken away from my kids at that time, that I would be taking more from them. And I felt satisfied in the role that I was pursuing, in that I could make as much of a difference, as a physician in the role, especially seeing that we collaborate with them every day. We touch the same patients and our goals are all the same. But I did, but instead went and pursued my doctorate in nursing. So don't call me doctor, but yeah, I did, like, I don't know, at the end of the day, you look back and you're like, we're all doing the same thing. We may do it differently, and our license may look a little different, but ultimately, like April mentioned, contributing and doing something positive. So, the accolades after a period of time quit meaning as much to me.
This is
yeah,
awesome. What
I
about you,
actually
April?
never considered it. Like
Okay.
once I learned about what a PA was, I was sold on that. And, as Alicia said, I mean, I get to actively evaluate and treat patients every day, right? So I'm doing what I love to do. And And going, patients have asked me, in the past, like, when are you going to go to, be a physician? And I always say I'm not, right? Because I'm already doing what I love to do. And I actually really enjoy working in a collaborative environment and working alongside my physicians. So to me, I just didn't really have a motivation to do it because I was already getting to do what I loved. So.
Well, April, I know your passion because you try and actually do clinical shifts. Like, even though you're our vice president of APP, you still like to do clinical shifts. Alicia, do you do clinical shifts as well?
I sure do.
Awesome.
Nights these days, I help out with our ambassador sites currently. So weekdays is admin, and weekends I am picking up anywhere from our Cleveland Clinic sites to Mount Carmel in the Columbus area, but anywhere close,
that.
but about 4 a month is where I stay.
I absolutely love that. You two are absolutely amazing at what you do.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely amazing. So
April's okay. She's okay.
Yeah.
Julie.
Okay.
She's such a hater. Man, it's a tough
She knows it's all love.
Okay, I know we got to wrap things up here,
Yes.
right? I don't want to keep you on all day, but I do have, what advice would you give someone considering a career as an APP?
That's a good question.
If they're considering the career, I would start with shadowing, because there's nothing worse than getting in, and depending on what your track is, right? So if you want to come in as a PA, I'll let April speak to that. But as an NP, obviously there's going to be some significant schooling that's going to happen up front before you get to the NP. I always say it's like paying your dues. You got to come through the nursing track and understand that first, as that's the root of what we do. So I would say shadow. If you know young before you're going into college, hey, this is kind of where I want to go, shadow a nurse. Make sure that part is appetizing first, because you got to earn your stripes. So you've got to do that role, and you've got to do it well in order to be successful as an NP. So shadow, ask around, even if let's say you're out of college, or maybe you're in college and you're still not sure, shadow, get in. People will pull you in all the time. You can, request that you follow people. If you think ER is going to be your thing, you can, follow around the ER. I think Tony talked about that during his episode when he was, going for football. He shadowed with people just to kind of decide where it was he was going to end up. So just ask and shadow. Don't step in unless you really have an idea of what it's going to look like on the inside.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think shadowing is a good thing. I mean, that, ultimately that's what got me into it. But I would say too that, especially probably for both of them, actually, like, just understand sort of like the commitment you're making. Because I think back to PA school, I mean, it was 26 months full time, right? Like, we were in class for 8 hours a day, and then we'd study another 6, right? On the weekends, I'd study 10 hours a day. And then in clinical rotations, you're, following the schedule of whoever you're rotating with. And so you really can't work, and be successful, in my opinion. Like, we had some people in PA school that, tried to have jobs as well, and, because they had to, financially wise, and it was difficult, right? It's hard to do that. So just really understand the commitment you're making, and make sure that you're able to invest in that time and put in the effort that you need to make. Because at the end of the day, when you're done, you're in a position where you're, saving the lives of others, right? You're responsible for patients' lives, depending on the setting that you're working in. And so you really have to be able to invest the time to really be successful.
It has been very interesting listening to the both of you speak on, the track of APP. What I have picked up from this is it is a calling and not necessarily a job, and I can equate that to my own role. It is a calling, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that you two have been called to this particular profession. You do it well. It's all about your personalities. It's all about, your desire and your want to help others. And I just think APPs are absolutely amazing. You all take the time, you take the care, and it warms my heart to know that I get an opportunity to work closely with two people who absolutely love exactly what they do, and able to spill that over into not only sound, but into the patients that you all, you care about. So from me to you, happy APP week to
Yes.
everybody out there.
Yeah.
I wish you
Well,
all
thank you.
the best
Thanks,
of
Julie.
everything. And, you know, just looking forward to seeing
Julie-
more work that you all have to do out there.
You said something that just resonated, and something I think April and I would want to reciprocate to you. When you are called, and whether you know in the moment you're being called, you get in and you do love what you do, and it is your your purpose. You are so much easier to be around. Patients do want to be around you. Your colleagues want to be around you. But that's not just in medicine. That's in everything we do. And I think our team, this team that's currently on this call, and your support of us, is because you love, and you love what you do. You're great at what you do, and it's your calling. It is you're a bridge. You're a connector of people. This is what you do really well. And to have, if you think about just the diversity just in this team, how successful we can be when we all come to work and love what we do and are excited about it. But it's not just our side. Like, we need you too, and you make us love what we do. So, or help us love what we do. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you
It's
so
a big
much.
love fest. Happy APP week.
Thanks for listening, everyone. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback, any suggestions that you have for other topics. So you can feel free to reach out to us. We have our email address, which is oncallpodcast@soundphysicians.com. You can also see us on Instagram at On Call with April and Alicia.
That's right.
And we'd love to hear from you. And from all of us, we want to wish all of you out there a happy APP week.
Happy
And a happy APP week. And
We
until
hope that
next
you take time to
guys.
celebrate you. And thank you for all that you do every day to provide that excellent care to your patients.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better, April. And then, as always, till the next time, you guys stay well, and we will stay on call.